Over the past year, I've sent over 100,000 cold emails, and I've been able to book qualified calls for myself and for my clients with it. Also, I've learned everything I know about cold email from people who have made over 100K per month with their cold email agencies. So with that being said, today I'm going to explain the exact tech stack that I use to send cold emails so that you can literally copy it and be able to do the same for yourself. And also at the end, I'm going to give some bonus apps that are also extremely useful for cold email. So stick around till the end. Okay, so first of all, for you to understand the tech stack, I need to explain basically how the cold email setup works. So I'm just gonna very quickly go through each one of the steps. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to buy domains. So obviously we want to send as many cold emails as possible without landing in spam. And the way that we can do this is that we can scale the amount of domains that we have. We can create more domains and more email accounts. So this is what I mean. Like we might have one admin panel. We have like 10 domains and 2 email accounts per domain, sending 20 cold emails per day. So that way we can scale the cold email infrastructure and send unlimited emails without landing in spam. So once we have the domains, we need to set up the DNS records to make sure everything's good. That's very simple. Then we need to obviously create the email accounts for each domain. Then we need to connect those email accounts to SmartLead, which in this case is the sending tool that we're going to be using to send the emails at scale automatically, basically. So we don't have to like copy paste and send them manually. So once the accounts are connected, we're going to start the warm-up process. So I'm going to kind of explain how that works a little bit. Basically what the warm-up process does is it's just going to send and receive emails to make your account look normal, make your account look like a regular email account that's not sending cold emails at scale, basically, so that you don't land in spam. Then once we have that, we need to build a lead list with all the leads that we're going to be reaching out to. Then we have to verify the leads, because if we reach out to emails that don't exist, we're going to get bounces, and that's going to hurt your email reputation and make you land in spam. So we want to avoid that. Then we obviously have to write the scripts that we're going to be sending. We have to create the campaign, and then we have to do the inbox management once we start the campaign, which is basically just replying to the people and like following up with people, etc., to get them to book on a call, because that's the end goal, is to get them on a call and sell them your product. So once we understand how the setup works, we can start talking about each step in the tech stack, right? So the first step, as I said, was buying the domains. To buy the domains, I personally use GoDaddy, but you can also use Porkbun as well. This is also a recommended app to buy domains, which is very, very good. And again, setting up the DNS records, you're going to be doing that inside of GoDaddy or Porkbun. So that's where you're going to have all the DNS records and everything. So now we have to create the email accounts. Me personally, I use Google Workspace or Outlook, which are like the basic tried and true ways to do it. Now Outlook is having problems at the moment. So right now, maybe go with Google Workspace. But you can just have a combination of both just to like hedge your bets as much as possible. But yeah, both work very well, except Outlook is having problems right now. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but we'll see. So then once you've created the email accounts in Google Workspace, for example, we now need to connect those email accounts to smartlead.ai. Now, smartlead.ai is the software that we're going to be using to send the emails, as I mentioned before. We're also going to be warming up the emails with SmartLead. So yeah, it's basically these 2 steps right here. And we also have a master inbox in there, so we can even just receive the emails inside of SmartLead and reply from there as well. And it has a bunch of different features as well. You can create subsequences, etc. So yeah, it's very, very good. And we're also going to create the campaigns. And as I said, we can do the inbox management if we want as well. Then the next step is to actually build the lead list that we're going to be reaching out to. For that, the main 2 softwares that I use are Liskit.io and Apollo.io. They're basically very similar, so you can try them both, see which one you like the most, etc. And yeah, so go check it out. Shout out to Liskit. So yeah, as I said, the main 2 apps that I use are Liskit and Apollo, but these are like the basics, right? So for more advanced things, you can use other things like Clay. Clay is I've never used it, but it's like a good software that people use to do way more advanced stuff. Or maybe if you want to like scrape certain websites or scrape Google Maps, you're going to use different apps. So there's a bunch of different things that you can do to create the lists, a bunch of different things that you can scrape, etc. depending on your situation, but this is like the basics, this is like the basic things. For other more advanced stuff, you can go look up other tutorials. Like for example, if you want like an e-commerce list, there's this thing called BuiltWith, which is like a database where you can see companies based on like the technologies that they use. So you would go there and find people who are using Shopify, for example, and it would be more accurate than Liskit or Apollo. So for different case studies, you might use different apps, but this is like the basics. You can do like 80% of the things with this. So once we have the actual lead list that we're going to be reaching out to, as I mentioned before, we need to verify these leads to make sure that they're good. So for that, we can use a tool like Million Verifier. I mean, there's tons of email verifiers out there. Million Verifier is one that I like personally, but if you're using Liskit, they actually now offer a bunch of verification credits as well. So if you're using Liskit to build your list, you might be able to also use the verification credits inside of Liskit because they offer them now as well as like another feature, basically. So you can use that if you want. So once we have our verified leads, all we have to do is obviously write the scripts. I mean, you can do that in Google Docs, Notion, in a piece of paper. You can do that whatever you want. But at the end of the day, you're going to be adding those scripts to SmartLead, which is the tool in which you're going to create the actual campaign. And we're going to do the inbox management. So everything here would be with SmartLead, basically. So that's basically the tech stack. Now, let's get into the bonus apps. So these are like 2 apps that are very, very useful that you can use to make things more productive, more streamlined. And these apps are Make.com and Zapier. So basically these 2 apps allow you to create automations. So it's basically like you can create scripts almost as if you were coding something, but you don't have to code anything. It's just like a no-code tools. You can create like sequences of actions that are just going to happen. So for example, if you want to onboard a client, you can do an automation where it's like, okay, when they submit this form, we create automatically a folder in Google Drive, and we create a file with their name or whatever. Like you can do a bunch of like different automations that are also going to be useful for cold email. So yeah, these are like the bonus apps. So anyways, with that being said, this is the tech stack. But before you leave, this is very important. I have a playlist on my YouTube channel where I talk everything about cold email, everything that I know. It's called Cold Email Lead Generation. So you can go to my channel, look for the playlist, and see if there's any videos in there that you might also find interesting, so you can learn more about cold email, basically. So yeah, thank you for watching, and see you on the next ones.